In this lecture, we are going to use the graph editor to create a speed out from a keyframe, and then later on we create a speed in. Notice we have been easing into a keyframe. How about if I want to speed into keyframe, meaning it comes very fast and stop very fast? How do I do that? I can click on position to select all the keyframes and then come and return them to linear. They are now linear. And we want to create a speed out. Let's take the last keyframe and give it an ease in. That's cool, right? Now I'm gonna take this keyframe and try to push the speed higher, and then take the influence and make it less and less. So I don't want the speed to influence anything. Then I'm gonna come to the last keyframe here and click on the influence and make it influence everything else. Now notice what's happening here. The graph has changed. The starting speed now is around 800 or 779, and then it will slow down completely. So actually I created a speed out. If you run your animation, the guy will speed out. And this is very useful, and it will be used a lot in our animations. Now, how about if I wanted to speed into this keyframe? Well, I can start manipulating here, taking this influence back, taking this influence in, and the influence 0 here, I can move it over here. Now I'm doing the extreme here, but you can be a bit moderate and give it some kind of ease in at the end, for example. Let's play it now. The guy starts very slowly and go very fast and actually is speeding into the keyframe. These are very useful techniques that we want to learn and we want to use. Now we can be more moderate. We can take the speed over here and make it up and reduce the influence. I'll click and reduce the influence, and notice now it's gonna come slowly and stop at a abrupt, but speeding up not so much. So the options here are very many, and the manipulation is really simple and easy as long as you have 2 keyframes. Let's work on something more. So I will select my keyframe and go to linear and make the keyframes linear again. Now, while having my keyframe selected, I will make them all auto Bezier. If you right click on the A keyframe and go to keyframe interpolation, you will notice they are auto Bezier. Notice we have the same option. We can make them Bezier and continuous Bezier. Now, because I selected the 2 keyframes and I moved down, it changed also the first frame. I will add another keyframe just in between here. And all I have to do is just to click on the diamond. I have a new keyframe. This keyframe is really auto Bezier. If I can move it up and down, and it has 2 handles for influence, one for outgoing speed and one for incoming speed. Let's double click on it and see exactly we have the incoming velocity and the outgoing velocity. We can regulate this. We can put the speeds that we want. For example, let's make it 350. I'm using tab to move, and this one 45 the influence, and here 350 and here 45. You notice it tried to give me the same speed here, which is actually very practical. I'll click OK, and I have a kind of animation now where the character will come from low speed and move up, slows down, and comes out. Pretty useful. Now, if I click on here, I can change the way I want my animation. And here I have 2 graphs with different influence on the right and left side of the middle keyframe. And you notice we have an ease in here and we have an ease out. You can change that. You can make it extreme. And now you have a totally different animation where we have a speed out, ease in, ease out, and speed in. Let's go to our main composition and see exactly what we have done. We go to bouncing birds, and let's take the bird here, the one that is moving up and down, open the position, select the position, all the keyframes, and go to the graph editor. Now notice you have an amazing graph here, but actually it's very logical. You remember here we didn't change the speed. We didn't ease it in or we didn't ease it out. So it's constant speed. But then the speed will drop. It comes out of here very fast, and the speed starts dropping almost to nil, and then it will increase, then drop to a certain speed, then increase again, and so on until you have a very flexible animation. So now you can decide exactly how to change the speed here. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tricky. There is one thing we haven't seen yet is how to work with the Bezier, and we will see that in the next lecture.